He was just right there. Scully! Baby! Come here. There he is. We got a Scully. Hello. Hello, friends. How are we? Happy Friday. Scully! Hello, hello. We've got Iron Knight, Jules, Faust, Hunter. Hello, everyone. How are we doing? T-shirt weather? No, definitely not t-shirt weather. I thought yesterday was Friday. No. Definitely today. Though, maybe you're in a different time zone. You wouldn't... I don't think you... It can't be Saturday for you yet, can it? Are you that far ahead of us? I guess it could be possible. I don't know for sure. Scully keeps hopping up. Hi, BB. Let's have a little sip of coffee and pet the kitty cat. What a good way to start stream, right? Oh, you just thought. I was like, you can't be that far in the future, right? The future. What's on your nose? Oh, it's gone now. Whatever it was. So what's everyone's plans for the weekend? What's everyone getting up to? Doing anything fun? Doing anything you gotta do? Getting things done? I'm going to see a play. I'm going to see my friend in a play with some other friends. Some friends, one of whom may be in chat right now. Let's get my blanket over here. I still need to make like a webcam screen. Just something that looks a little better than just two cameras stacked on top of each other like this is currently. Maybe this weekend I'll work on that. Jojo's here. Hi, Jojo. Hello, hello. Hello, Jojo. How are you? We've got a kitty cat, so we're on the webcam right now. Look at him. Look at this precious boy. Look at him. He's got rainbows on him. You can't really tell on the camera right now, I don't think, but the light's streaming through that window. He's got little rainbows on his back. Little rainbows. And he's gone. Maybe he'll hang out in the bed. Are you thinking about it? Are you thinking about laying in that bed for a bit? No? He's leaving. It's like, nah. I'm gonna go in the other room and bother Mulder, probably. That's probably what he's getting up to. Harry's here. Hello. Hello, friends. Happy Friday to everyone. I hope you're all staying hydrated. If I can muster the willpower, I'll finish an art thing. Ooh, what's the art thing? I want to know about the art thing. What's the art thing? Oh, it's Friday the 13th. You're right. It is indeed Friday the 13th. Stay safe out there, folks. I've been saying for 3 years I'll sort out some overlays and screen transitions and info panels for Twitch. Where does the time go? Oh, Jojo, I totally feel that. I've got some now. I updated them a few weeks ago, I think it was now. I made some graphics for the channel page. Don't listen to myself, I just want to see them because they're little... Not that you can see what I'm looking at, but they're little spaceships. I made little flying saucers. If you click on my name, it should bring you to the About section, I think. But I did those a few weeks ago. I had stuff written there, but it wasn't really comprehensive, and I didn't have the rules actually written out. So yeah, I updated that a few weeks ago. So I believe in you, JoJo. I bet that you could come up with something, at least one of those things, before the new year. That's my challenge to you, JoJo. Either the overlays or the stuff in your about section. I believe in you. I challenge you. I'm challenging you. Iron Knight says I gotta set my PC back up. Do it! I'm challenging all of you to do the things that you have been putting off. For whatever reason. Jules' big sweater, check. Fuzzy socks, check. Homemade cold brew with foam, check. I am ready. That sounds lovely. Just a drawing on the computer. It's about halfway done, but I don't usually come back to it once I end a session. I see. Well, if you want to share it when you're done, we have an art section on the Discord now. I don't know if you knew that, but we have a Discord and there's an arts and crafts section. So, just saying, that's a thing. That's a thing. No, Jules, it doesn't have to be hard things. I'm just challenging JoJo because he just admitted that he's been putting it off for 3 years. 3 years, JoJo. Don't make it a 4th. I believe in you. I'm going to motivate myself to do my cosplay by sharing progress photos. Yes. Yes, I would love that. The art section's not just for completed pieces. It's for progress as well. Show me what you're working on. Then maybe I'll be motivated to do more artsy things myself. I've put that on like the back burner. I haven't really done much except stream lately. I just broke my 6-month streak of failing to make any new puzzles, so that might be my creative limit for the month. Or it's just the beginning, JoJo. What if it's just the beginning? What if you have momentum now? Imagine momentum. Hunter says, I'll totally post my diamond painting in there. Yes! Like I said, it can be progress stuff too. It doesn't have to be completed stuff. I posted a link to those little, is it crochet kits in there? Because advertising almost got me. I didn't buy them. I want them. But I'm trying to be really good and not spend money because money's tight. But there's little Minecraft themed, I think it's crochet kits. I've never done crochet, but I believe this is crochet. A friend of mine made me a little ghosty. Look at him. Look at me, little hands, little teeny tiny hands and little blushies. I don't know if the little blushy marks are showing up. It's kind of bright. There he is. Hello. I am Ghosty. But it's so cute. So cute and tiny. And there's this set of these little antlers. Hold on, let me switch to the webcam. These little antlers came off a dog toy, so I put them on the little ghosty. And now he's festive. And that is the extent of decoration that I've done for the holiday season. Oh, another little thing over here. Does anyone know what this is? By looking at it? Any clues? Any guesses what's inside this egg? I want to see if anyone knows. JoJo's got it. It's a mushroom! Look at him! Look at him! He's so teeny tiny! Little face! Look at him! He's got a little mushroom on his head. Oh, it's not focusing on him. But, so cute. Little teeny tiny mushroom. Which side did this, like, jam into? it's a little mushroom egg. Anyway. Oh, I didn't even notice Mulder hopped up in there. Hi, baby. Hi, handsome boy. What are you doing? You gonna come hang out in here today? Yeah. Oh, he's such a good boy. I love him so much. That's Mulder. Mulder's the black and white kitty. Scully was the gray kitty that was kind of hanging out in here for a little bit. Before he abandoned me. What is it with people and teeny tiny things? Asks the miniature painter. And what's not to love about teeny tiny things? They're adorable. They're cute. I don't have anything else to show off within reach right now. There's a few little things on that shelving unit. But Jove's here. Hi Jove. Good morning, Jove. How are you? But yes, we have Discord. We have Discord now. And there's lots of different sections on there. We got a food section, and a pet section, and a photo section, and an arts and crafts section, and a music section. And you can share all sorts of stuff that fit under these categories as long as you adhere to the other rules. I don't know, it's fun to see what everybody's up to. All right, shall we Minecraft? I want to join the event and see what the daily was. Let's see if we can get the 4th daily. And maybe they'll put out the 5th one while we're here. Maybe. You just added pics of the miniatures? Yes! Thank you. Thank you, Harry. I will check that out. So there you go, folks. Harry's keeping the Discord active. How's your castle ruins coming along, Harry? I know you were working on that. Okay, let's go across here to the daily board. I think I have to look at it from the board itself. Day 4. Smash 15 bugs while wearing the dev hat. Okay. Let's see. The dev hat. Let's go smash some bugs. We've got to go to Q&A. Quality assurance. Also, I feel like I'm screaming. I'm sorry. My mic is like, you're getting pretty close to the red there. Oh yeah, we got the drop going. Has anybody landed yet today? I don't think anyone's landed yet. I want to drop. What am I going to drop? I'm going to drop... This is the dev hat, right? Yes. I'm going to drop Scully. Slow but steady. I may be 80% done with the walls that I'm going to start set dressing and detailing. Ooh, fun. Detailing's fun. Jojo landed! Yes, Jojo! Yay! I missed. But Jojo landed. Clappies for Jojo, the first successful landing of the day. Sorry, Mulder, am I being too loud for you? Okay, we gotta smash some bugs, shall we?
There's just too many of them.
Okay. Wah. 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 Oh, I missed. I thought I could make that. Oh, one just popped up right there. And right here. Oh. Yeah, keep squashing, I think. That wasn't all of them. Ow! Yeah. No, come back. No. Did I do the thing? Did I complete the daily? Is that what that was? Done. Now take the silly hat off. There we go. All done. Well, until the 5th daily comes, I don't know what else we can do here today. So maybe we'll just go back to regular Minecraft. But I want that cape. I want the cape. So I was trying to figure out what I want to do for the walls in the tunnel we started working on yesterday. I also got to finish the floor, but I think we might just put some well, let's sleep first. No, we could do stone bricks since we did them here. I was thinking maybe we'd put some sort of walls like this in parts, just kind of like it was dug out a bit. But maybe we should do the stone brick walls, or should we bring the diorite ones over here too? Let's see how diorite looks over here. That's fine. I kind of like how it looks over here. In the walls, just kind of set back, like it adds a little bit of variety to it. I don't know. I want to keep it mostly natural looking, I think. So finding stuff that goes with the natural stone without being too much of a contrast is tough. How does bricks look since we just broke the bricks though? See, I don't like that. I also don't want to overthink this because this is merely a path. Hi. Please leave. I want to make something for an entrance, though, to it. Probably out of some sort of wood. And I guess if we do wood there, we could carry wood throughout the tunnel. What else could we do? Let's think. Hey Oz, how are you? Happy Friday. Let's go back to the house real quick. I don't want to use more of the pale oak. Oh, I left a little chunk of it here. Wow. Get out of here. Shoo. Boop. I don't want to use even more of that because we use so much of it in the mining tunnel, in the path down to the mines. But maybe there's another kind of wood. Let's see. Oh, we could really lean into the teal, like this with, hold on, let's go upstairs into storage real quick. Moss, I think we keep here. How does this work with the warped stems, especially in I don't hate it. That actually could be nice. Shall we go harvest a whole bunch of warped wood? Why not? Let's do it. I also need a little more of the moss. But I don't have very much up here, so let's just go get some. We'll make some more in the mines. What else do I have on me? A bunch of diorite. So let's get rid of the diorite. Scratch the diorite. I don't want the diorite. We'll probably do... Wait a second. What if instead we tear out... Oh, dang it. Did not mean to click that. What if instead we tear out all the walls in the tunnel and we do like that with the moss? Where's the moss? The moss and the tuff? I think we're gonna do that. So I'll need, this is just giving me more stuff to go gather, because I'm gonna definitely need more diorite than that, and more warped wood, and more of the pale moss. Ugh. I'm doing well, Oz. Nice to see you. For those who don't know Oz Cat Dad, nope, we're not doing that again. We're not doing that button again. Why do I always do that? I always, when I'm trying to shout out people myself on my own channel, I always do /raid. OzCatDad is a lovely Minecrafter with many cats, so if you like my cat cam, you would definitely like OzCat's cat cam. OzCat's dad cam. Many cats over there, and many cute emotes. Somebody was kind enough to gift me a sub. Look at this. Look at this. Look at that. Oz was one of the other creators on Bedrock Legends, if you were not aware of that. So yes, go check out OzCatDad. Yes, see, we love cats here. I used that emote in Jules' stream last night because she was playing Dead by Daylight. And she was I guess one of the maneuvers to try to get away from the killers is to spin. She's like, spin maneuver. And I used that. I was like, this is Jules. She's just spinning. So it has many uses. All right, let's see. So we'll keep that on us. I'm gonna get rid of the stone bricks. Stone brick walls, we don't need that. I'm gonna need a lot of diorite. I'm gonna need more moss, and we're gonna need a lot more warped wood. I think I only have maybe half a stack of the warped wood in here. Almost a stack. But that was it for the stripped logs, I think. So we're gonna need to get a bunch of warped wood, bunch more moss, and a bunch of diorite. Shall we make a checklist? Not that checklist. I guess the back of this works. More pale moss. More diorite. And warped wood. Warped stems. Sorry. It's not wood, but it's wood. It is functionally wood. though, we should leave all this stuff behind. Let's grab a shulker. Did I show you guys? I renamed everything in here. Well, not everything, but we now have actually stuff named, so I know where stuff is. Like, now I can see. There's my trident with all my backup gear. This is all the extra stuff, like extra food and blocks and coal. Mob drops is named yet now. This is my dye box. That one was already named. That's my potions. That's my explorer box, was also named. And odds and ends. This is just stuff that sometimes we need when we're out and about. And this. Need a light? So some coal and some wood and some lanterns so I can make more torches if we need to on the fly. I love bundles. I am so obsessed with bundles. I have a bag of bundles. A bundle full of bundles. This is how much I love bundles. You love lists? Well, we got a little list going. Here it is. There's the whole list. Not that you could read it because it's too bright. Just kidding. Just kidding. You can't read the list. The list is secret. The list includes pale moss, diorite, and warped stems. So the ender chest is actually looking pretty good right now, I must say. I'm gonna need this if we're going to the nether. And maybe we should hold on to a totem. Or maybe we'll just bring some fire resistance. Alright, first off, put away the stuff that we don't need. Put all this in here. We're not taking that with us to the nether. Got our tools. We're gonna need potions. Fire resistance. Why are these all 3 minutes? Did I not extend these? Let's just get out of here. Excuse me, pardon me. Oh, they're splash potions. That's why. I don't want splash potions. I don't want splash potions. I just want regular potions. That's 8 minutes. There we go. That's just in case we need it. We're gonna need the helmet. We'll probably need the chest plate. We're gonna need this to chop. And Iron Knight has redeemed a queued drop game. Thank you, Iron Knight. Here we go, folks. We're queuing those drops. Get your drops in! Exclamation point drop along with an emote of your choice. You know what? I'm just gonna do Oz's spinny emote. Why not? That would be fun to see that falling from the sky, right? So we'll set a little timer for 5 minutes. That'll give you all a little bit of time to get your drops in. Set timer 5 minutes, please. Thank you very much. Get your drops in. Get your drops in. Alright, so we'll keep this on the hotbar. And we're going to use fireworks to get there. Let's restock our fireworks, actually. Into the basement. Oh, that's too many. Too many. Too many fireworks. That's like grab and go fireworks. Alright, we got our helmet. We got our chest plate. We got a fire resistance potion. We don't... Wait, hold on. I already had a fire resistance potion on my hotbar. We don't need a second one. That was silly. Alright, got the helmet on. Got my axe. I think we're good. And it's raining. Let's just sleep. Even though we're going into the nether, it doesn't matter. Sleepy times. Alright, what do we got in the drops here? Hunter's in the drop. JoJo's in the drop with one of my favorite emotes ever. I love that Danny emote. That Danny emote. The pants. Little running pants. Oz is in the drop. Jules is in the drop. Oh, that's cute, Jules. Can I see? Whose is this? I don't know this one. Oh, that's a saint one. Sainty. That's another one of your Dead by Daylight streamers, right? Iron Knight's in the drop. Jove's in the drop. Leggy go zoom. Another Dead by Daylight cutie. DBD cutie. Love that. Love it. Oh yeah, where you ended up raiding into. Very fun. All right. You know what? We'll walk. We'll walk. Yes, there we go. Into the nether. What time are you coming in tonight, Jules? Just out of curiosity. Oh, I'm sorry. I hope whatever it is okay. Sending my love. All right, there is definitely some warped wood somewhere around here. Oh. I think it's the other way. There it is. Guess we can chop this all down. No! Why are there so many guests? Frustrating work stuff. Ugh. Let me know if I need to fight anyone. Oh, I forgot my hoe. Luckily, we have our ender chest on us. Burp. I'm missing an ender chest. Why do I only have one? I usually have two. Oh, that's our timer. That's our timer for the drop. It's a good thing we said it because I completely forgot about it. Are we all in the dropped? Are we all in the dropped? Give you another 20 seconds or so just in case you weren't here when we announced that there's a cute drop. All you gotta do, exclamation point drop. And if you'd like to, you can put an emote with it. You don't have to. It'll give you a little snowman, I believe, for the winter one. If you don't. Got it. All right, we're gonna start the drop. We ready? We all ready for the drop? Here we go. We're dropping in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. There we go. Look at us go. We're dropping. What'll happen? What'll happen? Hunter's on course for a nice landing, it looks like. Oh, we got a whole group here, but Jove's coming in, bringing everybody out except for himself, apparently. And Jules landed too. Jove, you just were like, nope, nobody's landing. Just kidding. Jove was responsible for that. Pretty much everybody who didn't land blamed Jove. But clappies for Jove and Jules. Jules, I said your name so weird there. I don't know why. Jules landed. Oh, Faust, you were just a little too late on that, bud. I'm sorry. Yeah, Jove really did run some solid defense there. Sports, right? Sports ball? Oh, you got more little clappies I don't know. Who's this? Is that like a little dinosaur? A Dinosaurus, yes, that makes sense. Cute. It was a sports ball reference. Sports ball! I know about sports ball. Absolutely. I have my wings on, right? Yes. Alright, let's not look at him. There are many Endermen right now. We're just gonna go over here and cut down some of these trees. Boop, 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 boop. Except I can't reach. Can't reach. There we go. We'll probably just end up turning most of this into bone meal. Many tall boys. And we'll get some shroom lights out of this too. I don't really use the shroom lights too much, but sometimes we do. They're good hidden lighting. There's no reason we couldn't use those in lieu of like frog lights in a lot of spots. Or even lanterns. I do like the Endermen when they're not, you know, attacking me. Wonder how much of this we're gonna need. So many spoopy sounds. I should probably just put the hoe next to my axe instead of going all the way between the two. But anything that's not just my, like, usual hotbar configuration, it takes forever for me to get used to. That's not an axe. There we go. Yeah. Boop, 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 boop. And now it's kind of dark over here. Okay. Crimson trees growing on warped Nelium. I didn't just look at you. I didn't look at you. Nope, I didn't. That's interesting. I do love the contrast of the crimson, like, grass stuff against the warped. These two go so well together. We used a lot of the warped and the crimson in the Witch's Tower. I do like those two against each other. Ah. Hey, we finally got a stack. We're probably gonna spend a lot of time in here collecting these. And I kind of wish I brought some bone meal so I could replant. Actually, I bet I have some bones in my ender chest. In the mob drops, there's definitely bones in there. Oh, 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 sorry. 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 Sorry, where are you? Friend? Oops. I didn't mean to. Are you? You're still mad. Sorry. Do you think the other ones know that I just murdered one of them? It was in self-defense! Oh, dang it. What murder? I still haven't found a good blurb of that. I want that as a sound effect, as a sound alert. It's like one of my favorite memes. What about all the murder? What murder? I don't know what that, like, news clip is from, but I feel like it could be used in relation to Buddy Cianci. I didn't notice this giant stream of lava till just now. Can you, like, block that off? Ah! No. How about no? How about no? How about you don't kill me in the nether? That'd be great. I don't even think I looked at you. Where did you come from? You found the what murder clip? Everything I've found that like is a sound clip of it, the quality of the audio is just really terrible. Dang it! No, 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 no. Where are you? Eat food. Where is he? Okay, he's dead. That was a little too close to death for my comfort. At least I was smart enough to put my chest plate on there. I think that saved me. I think that last hit would have killed me if I didn't. Where is this lava coming from? And we're up to 1.5 stacks, but we're also like full up on the Nelium now. So let's grab an ender chest, I guess. And a shulker. And we'll put all of this in there. We'll probably end up picking up more of those as we go. Put a stack of that. That's not a full stack yet. You know what? Let's put these in a bundle. 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 I love bundles. Alright, pick this up. We'll keep this on us. This is my silk touch. We'll pick this up. Oh! And put... what was here? This was my pickaxe. Okay, everything else is in place. Just stop staring at people. Take a hint already. I'm sorry. I can't help it. I can't help it. Is the drop reset? Okay, I'm gonna drop. I got hiccups. I'm gonna drop Mulder because he's being so cute. Be like me and just keep eyes on his body, addy, addy. Anytime they've attacked me, I didn't mean to look at them. I'm like breaking a block and they go, just zoom by. That was not a successful drop on my part. Alright. Back to chopping. How about this one? That is, like, floating there. Oh, I meant to grab bone meal so I could replant. Oh, that's precarious.
Hey, listen.
I'm listening. I'm listening. What's up, Hunter? Do you actually need my attention? Hey, Will. How are you, Will? I hope you're well. Alright, I want this. If you can silk touch the netherrack, I think you can grow it in the overworld. Yes, I can. I totally could be doing this in the overworld. You're 1000% right. But I don't feel like it. It's very dangerous for me to look around like that, Jules. 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 I'm dying less today. That's good. Why were you dying? Oh, you've been sick, haven't you? Did I see that you've been sick? I didn't get to spend very much time in your streams this week, Will. Alright, we got bones. We'll just take that, put this away, that there, this here. I got sick on Tuesday. Wednesday I didn't. I knew you didn't stream Wednesday. Yesterday I did Guitar Hero 1. Yeah, I caught a little bit of your Guitar Hero stream. That was interesting. So are you a Guitar Hero streamer now? I didn't have the energy for guitar, so I might as well make a load of people randomly happy. Fair. How was the crowd, though? I didn't get, like I said, I didn't get to really hang out. Was the crowd okay? I know you're partnered because of Guitar Hero, but I also know you don't really play it anymore. I know that. Believe it or not. Clone Hero you don't want to touch. Okay. Sorry, they're the same thing to me. That's valid. Well, I hope you had fun with it. It did look like you had quite a few people in there when I did stop in. Creative with mods and hardcore with 4 inventory spots. Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. So, Clone Hero is the modded stuff? Am I understanding this analogy correctly? I feel like most of the people in here I have at one point or another brought over to a Will Fox stream. But if you're not already familiar with Will Fox, you should be. He's an incredibly talented guitarist, an all-around good human being, and I like spending my time there. And I'd love to see more of you over in his streams when I spend my time there. I'm gonna send you all the Minecrafters, Will. Clown Hero is the 100 note per second spam. Hurry your arms. BS. Guitar Hero 1. You have 3 frames to hit the note or you die. Will, when are we gonna Minecraft together? Minecraft will when? Will craft. There's a lot more to the game now, bud. The game is ever expanding. I mean, just look at the Nether. Have you been in the Nether since the Nether update? I don't know how long ago this was. But we have trees in the Nether now. Oh, that's very, very dangerous. Okay, let's go over here. You'll put a piston trap door in my house? What? What does that even mean? Last time I played Minecraft, I did it exclusively to initiate my mate's girlfriend into the server. A piston trap door. Oh. Oh, like a drop. A death drop. You open your door and you just drop. No. We don't do that here, Will. We are friendly Minecrafters. We help each other. No hazing, no griefing, just good old-fashioned mining and crafting and collaborative teamwork. There was water. Okay. So she didn't die, she was just stuck there. Hope she had some blocks to build up or tools to dig out. The world's much deeper now, Will. I don't know if you've played since they expanded the world height, but I think it's a lot further you can drop now than before. Oh my god, and obsidian. Will, you're the worst. The worst. Someone play that sound clip for me.
The world.
Thank you. Good work, Hunter. Thank you. Yes, you can make people fall much farther now. Break a redstone circuit so it constantly... No! Don't touch people's redstone! Oh my god. Never mind, I take it back. I'm not ever playing Minecraft with Will if this is how he plays. Will's gotta learn how to be a friendly and cooperative Minecraft player. It's your own redstone. They walk in and it goes... Oh, God. I repeat, the worst. Intentionally lagging things? Terrible. Terrible. Horrible, no good, very bad Minecraft. If anyone would like to know what not to do if you want people to enjoy playing Minecraft with you. Will, you are a child. You are a child.
You're my family and I love you, but you're terrible. You're
all terrible.
I don't say that.
Well, that's all you say.
Yeah, you kind of do.
Unbelievable. Oh, that sounds horrible, Will. Did I just look at him? Yep, I looked at him. Where are you? Where'd you go? There you are. Come here. Come here. I would like to, you know, remove you from this world. Right here. Right here, bud. One more block. Oh, you were an innocent bystander. You had nothing to do with this. Now I have 2 angry Endermen. Great. I thought you were the one that was just mad at me. You are. You're mad at me. You're very mad. And you're also mad. Are you both dead? I heard 2 Enderman deaths, so I think so. You're not mad. We're good. We're good. Everything's fine. Is my inventory already full again? Of course it is. And I have no idea how much of this I actually need for the tunnel. We're just gonna keep growing more trees. Oh, who's mad at me? Why are you hitting me? I didn't even look at you. Well, now I looked at you. Now you're all mad at me. Go away. Anyone else? Anyone else want a piece? What are you talking about, Will? I have no idea what that is. This is a YouTuber? What kind of YouTube? If it's not Minecraft YouTube, I'm not interested. Rocket League. Gotcha. I don't watch Rocket League YouTube. I sometimes watch Rocket League Twitch. Specifically Andrew Core. When he plays with Day One. That's always fun. Car ball! Yay, sports ball! Yay, car ball! The unique content type. I will check out this person's voice to verify whether or not they indeed sound like Tina. Alright, let's grow some more trees here. No, none of that's trees. None of that's trees. I also need my my shulker box again. Oh, for a second I thought I forgot to pick it up. That would have sucked. Alright, let's put that here. I should just put all that there. Oh, this can go up there. This can go into the bundle because bundles are awesome. We love bundles. Everybody loves bundles, right? Bundles, bundles. Okay, break that. Put that away. Put this in there. Where's all the mushrooms at? Is everybody sitting up straight? I need to fix my posture. Oh, Joe's here. Speaking of fixing your posture. Joe! Joe, how's your new saddle seat? And did you or did you not buy the accompanying stirrups? Jules kind of hears the voice. Gotcha. Excuse me. Excuse me. Are you flipping off the Joe plays violin in my chat, Will? Is that what I am seeing right here? That's how he shows affection? Sorry. I took that as a hostile action against my favorite Twitch streamer. Oh, goodness. Oh, 69 bone meal. Nice. Which is the opposite of 86 bone meal. That's what you do when you don't have any stock left to make it. 86 bone meal. When your partner is a chef, your whole world is just all the lingo. Suddenly, all kitchen lingo. Oops, all kitchen. Will, how are your kitty cats? Are they precious as ever? Look, I have a kitty cat in here right now. Hold on. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Mulder. Hi, Pee-Pee. Yes, I just disturbed you for no real reason. That's my kitty. One of them. Isn't he precious? Don't we love him? That's Mulder. Scully's not in here right now. I don't know where Scully is. Scully, Pee-Pee. Scully, where are you? Are you ignoring me? Scully! Scully! He's not coming. They're both skulls. Mulder's like, what are you doing? Why are you screaming? Alright, let's get back to chopping. With the axe, that's how you chop. You're not stupid, Will. I don't blame you for not knowing the difference between my cats. Because admittedly, I don't know the difference between your cats. I think Cass is the white one, but I'm not really sure. Are they being sweet little precious baby angels? As all kitty cats are. Oh no, but she's okay now. Ad in 2 minutes, folks. Incoming ad break in 2 minutes. You have been warned. We'll probably take a little break during that anyway. We've been going a little over an hour now. Jules, you're, not Jules, Joe, you're 11 a.m. this morning? So another like 2 hours? Hour and a half? Not 2 hours. She went to the vet, was okay within a few days, a little drama queen. That's good that you know when she's sick. Some cats like hide it and that can be bad because what if it's something serious? Good that you got it checked out. Just in case. Better to be safe than sorry. Let's grow some more trees. Oh, there's the things. You know, let's break these off. Spend that. Oh, 3 of them in a row. Very nice. Give me this. And this. Now I think we can put these all in a row. And probably get a few more. There's one. Two more. I want one more. One more, then we'll grow all those, and hopefully that'll be enough. Oh. Just kidding, we already got it. Alright, or did I just do that? Can y'all stop with the movement of all the Nelium? That'd be great. Did I not just pick that up? Okay, I used my axe on it. That was silly. That was silly. Alright, I think we're going into an ad break in any second now, so I'm going to throw up the BRB screen, take a short break. Everybody go fill up their water bottles, get a snack, do some stretches, rest your eyes. If you got meds to take, make sure you're taking your meds. And I'm going to BRB. We back. We back with freshly microwaved coffee. Oh, what did I miss? Will says I need to go and function. No, functioning's overrated. Functioning is overrated, Will. I hope everybody gets to have a nice, relaxing weekend. We've got another kitty cat. Here we go. This is Scully. This is Scully. Look at him, my precious boy. Now we got both kitties. Oh, he keeps headbutting my chair. You want to come in my lap? Want to come sit with me? Oh, my boy. Sweet boy. Sweet Scully. Handsome boy. Boop. So there you go. There's Scully. They're both boys. We've got Scully and Mulder. Don't even know what you're doing this weekend? Could be relaxing, Will. Could be a nice relaxing weekend. Cuddling with kitty cats. Oh. He's got little thumbs. This is my thumb cat. He's your thummy boy. See their thumbs? Their thumbs. Scully, my sweet boy. I gotta get back to the Minecraftins. I gotta get back to the Minecraftins. No, please don't. Nope, nope. Please don't rub your face on the webcam. You're gonna knock it over. Please, please don't. Please, please don't. He's trying to knock over the cat cam. Do you see that? Well, you can't really see it because the camera's directly in front of him. Leave the cat cam alone. You come over here. You come hang out with me. Away from the cat cam. A girl sphinx cat named Baby Yaga? Is that a reference I should get? Because I don't. Baba. Baba Yaga. I don't get that either. What's that? I'm sure that's what Joe's is referencing. He's just eating up these pets right now. Yeah? You happy, kitty? You happy? Please, can you turn around this way? Look over here. Show your face and not your butt, maybe? No? Folklore. She's a terrifying ancient witch. Okay. That tracks. Alright, I'm switching back to video games here. If Scully wants to be on the kitty cat cam, he can go hang out in the kitty cat bed. Like his brother does. Moo Radley? Catechus Finch, and then I want a cow called Moo Radley. I approve of these. A house on chicken legs. I feel like I've seen this. Does either it's one of Corinne's tattoo designs that I've seen her do, or it might be a tattoo that Mike has, Jules, of the house on chicken legs. That like I feel like I can picture that. You don't have that tattoo, do you? That's not you that has that tattoo. Yes, correct. I don't, but I love it. All right. Yeah, I can like picture it, and I as a tattoo design specifically. You want to get a DN tattoo. What is DN? Death Note. Go away. Go away. Get out of here, Will. Let's see if the daily's out. Maybe I can get my cape. Get out right now. There's the door. Go make some food. I hate you. I hate you. I'm never coming to your stream ever again, Will. Ever. Never ever. I thought we were having a serious conversation. There's no more dailies out. We gotta wait. Get out right now. The end of you and me. In the words of a legend. No, I'm trying to get out of it. There we go. Back to the box. I'm not. No, get out. Go. Leave. I am ignoring everything Will says from here on forward. But really, I do love Will, and I really enjoy spending time in his streams, and I highly recommend going there and watching him play guitar. Because when he's playing guitar, he doesn't talk so much. No, I'm just kidding. He talks a lot while he plays guitar. That's a lie. He talks an awful lot. Have a good night, Oz. Thanks for stopping in. This hasn't been the most Minecrafty Minecraft stream, but I appreciate you being here. We're gonna grab these mushrooms and grow some more trees so we can get out of the nether. One, two, three. Okay, let's see if we can grow all these trees. Boop, boop, boop. Come on, grow. 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 That one grew. That one, okay. I'm hoping if we do it this way, we'll get way more of the stems and less of the Nelium. Ooh. I think this might actually work. A little bit. Maybe not. Maybe if the ceiling wasn't so low, we would have had better luck here. Still a decent amount. I think that this will probably give us like... Hello? Hello? Excuse me, please leave. Rude. Why are you all attacking me? Not fair. Get out of here. Get out right now. It's the end of you and me. Too late. And I can't wait for you to be gone. Thank you, Jules, for getting that song stuck in my head. Oh, it's almost nutrition break time? Yes. What, then you're down to what, like 2 or 3 more servings of it? Almost halfway through. Go away. Leave me alone. I don't want to fight y'all. Mello! Hi, Mello. Yes, nutrition brick. Oh, Joe landed. I didn't even see that Joe landed. When did that happen? It's beautiful, Joe. Jules came into a surplus of eggplant parmesan. Oh my god. Can y'all? Why are you all mad at me? Everyone leave me alone. Where are you? Anyway, what was I saying? But yeah, Jules is consuming a lot of eggplant parm that is currently taking up the majority of her freezer. And it's just like a it's a comedic amount of eggplant parm. Assembled in a brick-like manner. Alright, I think that I'm gonna say this is enough and get my butt home. Hopefully it's this way to get home, I think. Alright, let's put the rockets back on my hotbar. We got the fire resistance potion as well. Wings are on. Let's find our way home. I think somewhere over here there's a lot of that's a lot of like cobblestone, so somewhere over here is right. Maybe it's past here. All right, I think it's there we are. Okay, ignore all the fire. Ignore all the fire. The fire doesn't matter. And you know, I think I'm gonna leave some of these fire resistance potions here for future use. There we go. Oh, Hunter landed. Very nice. And hello, look at that. Look at all those landings. Clappies. Clappies. Spinach never gets used. You always buy the spinach in hopes that you'll consume it and prepare it, and then it always turns to goop in the fridge. I am convinced that at least 80% of store-bought spinach goes to waste. I think that's the high score drop of today so far. Let's double check though. This will include the end of yesterday's stream in the scores though, because it's the last 24 hours. But look at that. Mellow with a 97.12. That is the high score of the last 24 hours. Good job, Mellow. Beautiful landing. Very proud. Alright, I hope that this is enough of the warped stems to do what I'm envisioning for the tunnel that we started working on yesterday. Oh look, a Keldon has arrived indeed. Hello, Keldon. Did you just get here? I didn't ignore you, did I? Lovely to see you. Happy Friday, friend. Keldon, you want to try to take the top drop score? Just got here. Okay. Hence the arrival message. Alright, this is gonna go back in here. That can go back in my ender chest. That can go there. We got a bunch of blocks. I'm probably gonna stick most of this into the composter over there. And let's put the stems in here. I guess the Nelium can go here. All this is going to go into a composter. We'll keep the shroom lights. Bone meal can go here. Ender pearls there. This one, fire resistance potion, can go here. Alright, let's put down this other shulker. Take all the stems. Alright, hopefully 4.5 stacks will be enough. This is all gonna be composted. What's all this? Oh, look. Even more ender pearls and Nelium. Nelium, I don't know how to say it. Alright, helmet on. This helmet in the ender chest, and also I want to take one more ender chest to put in here. Perfect. Oh, I know where the other one was. I put that in the tunnel we started. That's where the other one is. Alright, so this is coming with us to use in the tunnel. This is we're gonna go drop all this stuff off at the farmhouse. Let's sleep. Not the farmhouse, the barn. There is no farmhouse. Whee! Can I land on that platform? Kinda. It counts. Totally counts. Okay, this warped block. Now it's empty and can go back in here. All right, and now we need to go get a bunch of diorite, which I don't think I have too much of in the mine storage right now. So I think we'll just go digging. We don't do too much digging on stream these days. Eh. Can I coast? I want to coast. Every time I hit my head. This tunnel's not tall enough to actually fly down. But let's see. Diorite. So that's the end. This is the diorite. There's a little bit. I feel like we could easily get some more in one of the tunnels. Oh, I made little lights. I don't know if I'm crazy about them. But I did this for lighting in here instead of the hanging lanterns we had. Not sure I love it. Might swap this out for more of the pale oak instead of the stairs. I don't know. And then we might just stick trapdoors over it, to be honest. We'll see. Matt! Hello, Matt. How are you, Matt? Alright, that's a bunch of andesite. There's gotta be some diorite. There's granite. I don't know where this goes, but I'm hoping one of these... There we go. There's some diorite. We don't need silk touch on that. We're gonna need a decent amount if I'm gonna make a whole bunch of diorite walls for the tunnel. Just back from the zoo. Did you see any wonderful, exciting animals that you were hoping to see today? I love the picture with the owl that you posted in the Discord, by the way. That was really cool. I'm pretty sure I saw an owl the other day. I went outside to grab something from the car, and I heard something rustle in the trees over my head, and then a big bird flew overhead, and I didn't see its face, but the colors and the body looked like an owl. But I guess it could have also maybe been some type of a hawk. But the wingspan was impressive. And I know we do have some owls in the area. I don't know for sure, but it might have been an owl. Let's do this. Take all this out of the path. Okay, there we go. Like that.
I'm a little bit. I'm a little bit. I'm a little bit. I'm a little bit of la 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 la. A little bit of Alexis.
Benny was an awesome owl. Think of an owl that is basically like a lap dog and you would have Benny. Oh, Benny! Jules using witchcraft to transform and spy on you. You know what? That's totally fine. But if Jules has the ability to turn into an owl and fly wherever she wants, I certainly hope that she would at least, I don't know, turn back into a human and knock on my door sometime. That'd be great. I don't know how much of this we'll need, but let's clear out at least this little deposit of diorite before we head back out. We gotta grab some moss while we're down here too. It's actually a lot more than I expected. Just keep going? How much diorite is this? Where does it end? Zari's here. Hi, Zari. How are you? Happy Friday. As for today's trip, I got to see some of the animals I wanted. Some others stay hidden, but it wasn't a bad day. What was the highlight of your day today, Matt? Did you take some pictures? Matt's really good at wildlife photography. He takes a lot of good animal pictures, and he's been kind enough to share some of those in the Discord. Snow leopard walking around would be the highlight. Yes! Oh, they're so cool. I'm glad you got to see them. Alright, this seems to be the end of it at last. It felt like that collection of diorite was never gonna end. Alright, let's get back out of here. I'm just gonna see, do we have a little bit more? Nope, no more of that on us? Okay. Let's grab a little bit of the granite. Just want to block off the wall, so if I use this path, I don't accidentally fall. Not fall, but like get knocked off of it. So place that and that. And we go like that. Ow. There we go. And this way's home. Today I learned not to Google owls without feathers. No! 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 That sounds terrible, Zeri. Alright, and we need to get a little bit more moss while we're here. Oh, we got quite a bit of diorite out of that. Should we put away this? And now we can grab some moss. No, leave me alone, slimes. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. I didn't pick those up right. No, stop giving it to me. No, you put it in the thing over there with the where the note block is. Not to me. Good job. That one's doing its job. I feel like we're gonna break into a cave over here somewhere. I hear so many zombies, but I don't see them. Hunter, why would you Google that after Zeri said not to? The best thing about work is when people submit a service ticket and then they ignore that ticket. That's awesome. Don't you love that? I'm not blaming you for this. I'm blaming Zeri and Hunter. Zeri tried blaming you. Unless you told Zeri to Google that, then I don't think that's actually your fault. That sounds like something that Zeri chose to do. And then Hunter's even more to blame for doing it after Zeri said that it was a terrible idea. Why would you look that up? Y'all have no one to blame but yourselves. This time. Lame curiosity. Well, sometimes curiosity gets the best of you. And then you see horrific things. I get it. Maybe we should stick a torch in the ceiling here. Feels a little dark. Alright, I think we're gonna fill in a bunch of this with the stone we just gathered. Because there's definitely a bunch of gravel that can't be converted. You need sleep? Why are you sleeping? Did you not sleep last night, Joe? Ah, lots of rehearsals. Oh yes, I knew that. Is tonight the show? Due to close automatically if no reply. And by automatically, you mean manually. Honestly, if that's gonna get people to actually respond, giving them 24 hours, like a work day, business hours, I think that's pretty reasonable. Especially since all that means is they'd have to open a new ticket if the thing actually wasn't resolved. But if it's not a priority for them, why should it be a priority for you? I hear zombies. Oh, you have a Sunday gig too. 6:30 a.m. Gross. Gross. Yuck. Ugh. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. This is why we used to have the iron golems in here to take care of you guys. But then you went and killed them all. Very rude. Very rude of you. Indeed. Now, if only my little LA friends would come along and pick up all these slime balls. There they come. Here they are. Good little LAs. Can you kindly go away? Let's throw all that over there for them. Oh no, there's more of them. Oh, I should probably eat. Is it church? Oh! Ugh. Ugh. 6:30 in the morning. That's so gross, though. We try to contact them 3 times, and if we don't get a response, we close the ticket. It's always the people who submit tickets at 4:52 p.m. on a Friday, too. This is broken! Can you fix it even though you can't fix it without me being here? The thing doesn't work. Please fix. Immediately. Are you guys bonding over the programs you use for your service jobs? Is that all the stone I had? No, I have a whole other stack. Oh my god, please leave me alone. Girl, right. I didn't know that these were slime chunks when I started making this. No, please, please do leave. Why are you here too? Didn't you see what happened to the others? Didn't you? Didn't you see? Oops. Alright, I'm hoping that this will be enough of the moss to work with. How much we got? 2 stacks. Maybe we need a little bit more than that. Let's go for 3. I am curious where these zombies are. I'm wondering if they're below rather than above. They feel quieter now when I'm in this corner, and I kind of expected there to be a cave like right here before. But now I'm not so sure. They feel further away. So maybe not. I feel like they're right here. Zombies, what are you? Alright, that should be like another stack. Almost. Okay, that's enough. That's enough for now. That should be plenty of carpets. Ignore the slimes. Eventually we'll make that area look nicer. But today is not that day. What am I missing here? Oh, Mitchie's here. Hi, Mitchie. How are you? Hunter, your curiosity is to blame for that, so. I love the IT advice one of my managers gives when my work's laptop wouldn't charge. Go into the office and work on your laptop there. Like the office has magical charging ports or something that would change the fact that it doesn't charge. That makes no sense. Mitchie, I hope your day is going well. Lovely to see you. Happy Friday. Jules does tend to find creepy things cute. When I used to get complaints from people that they were running out of space on their network drives, I would tell them to use smaller fonts. Some people actually believed me. Joe. Oh, that's funny. Been work lurking. I hope that work has been kind to you this week. Do you have the weekend off? Joe says the office has better electricity. Yeah, I'm sure that's it. Poor Matt and his lack of electrical outlets. No wonder you can't charge your laptop. No wonder. Alright, I'm gonna put the regular moss in here for now and the seeds. Alright, we got plenty of carpets. We got a little bit more stone. We can just stick somewhere. We'll stick it in the stone generator for now. Where is it? There it is. Alright, the cobble and the gravel are gonna go out here. Gravel. Which blends in an awful lot with the moss. And cobblestone, that's here. Oh wait, no, give me that back. Those are my blocks for if I need to pillar up. Doop, doop, doop. Ooh, my package is arriving tomorrow. Guys, I finally ordered curtains for the living room. Finally. We've lived in this house for, I think, 8 years now? Ish, around there. I have painted one room. And we have curtains in 2 rooms going on 3. Yes. Yes, Matt. Don't even ask. Just send it. All the baby owl pics, please. Thank you. Directly into the Discord. Alright, we got the diorite, we got the moss, and we've got the warped wood. I think we have everything we need to go back to working on the tunnel. Which, this is the path. Oh, and I did talk to Kong, because I'd asked Kong if it would be reasonable, because right now the tunnel comes out here. That's where the tunnel ends. Then this path I'm going to have go along here. We'll probably level this part out rather than jumping up. And there's 2 ways I'm going to have the path diverge. It's actually quite a long path. So we're going to have it go this way. And then that mountain up ahead, we're going to tunnel right through it. Right through that mountain, upwards. And then that'll come out on the other side, which is where Kong's base is. So we'll have the tunnel come through here. And then out about here-ish. So that we're right near Kong's house. But before it goes into this mountain, we're also going to have it go that way to the village, because this pillar here is where our portal, the portal to the end is. So we're gonna put paths that go that way to the village and through the mountain to Kong's house, to his base. But we gotta finish this part of the tunnel first. We have another tunnel that does bring us right to Kong's house as well. But I like having multiple modes of transport. But this is what we've been working on with the tough floor mixed with the pale moss. I really like this combination. And now we've got a bunch of the warped wood, and we're gonna use this in here as well. So I might replace, oh, maybe we should make some fences, some warped fences for this part. Maybe we'll do fences and the stripped wood. Do I have any sticks? 8 sticks. If I make a few planks, how would this look here? Instead of that. We're using, nope. We're using the diorite walls as well, so. I don't like that. Maybe we'll find a spot where that comes into play. But for now, we're gonna have to space this out in a way that allows us to have the walls in between. What monsters? What monsters? There's no monsters. There's no stinking monsters. This is perfectly safe. Gonna make an introduction in Discord. All right. Yes, we do have an introduction section. You can feel free to tell us a little bit about yourselves. You can let us know what pronouns you use so we know how to address you, what you're interested in. A little introduction area on the Discord's nice. And apparently we get baby owl pictures. I can't wait to look at that after stream. How do we want to do this? Put these back. Let's make a bunch of diorite walls. We'll figure out how we're going to space out the... the warped stems. So I think rather than having this break off like that, we'll just make this all glass. Which, do I still have glass? The glass might be in this other shulker. No? No glass? Oh, maybe this one? This one has the glass. Okay. Let's bring all this into the tunnel. Glass, 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 glass. Got it. All right, what about that one? Give me the stone. Or don't give me the stone. Fine. All right, so if we do that, maybe we'll make this all warped stem and this all warped stem. Ad in 2 minutes, folks. Incoming ad break, 2 minutes. You have been warned. Nope. No, give it back. Okay. Like that, and then this. Oh, and this. So, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So this all has to go. That'll go like that. Okay. And then this also has to go. All right, ads are gonna start in just a second, so I think I'm gonna also take a short break. I'll throw up the BRB screen. You can feel free to play dropped. All right, incoming ad break. I'll be right back, folks. Oh, I didn't have the mic on. I jammed my finger when I got back in my chair. The arm of the chair hit under the desk and jammed my finger. Oh, it's gonna probably bruise. I'm such a klutz. Alright, let's see. I want to drop. It hurts to use my phone. No. Scully, no. Let's see if I can land. It doesn't look like anyone successfully landed in the snow pile this round. I think Mulder's judging me for my finger. Like, quit being so whiny. Alright, I didn't land, but here goes Zeri. Maybe Zeri will land. Come on, Zeri. Get in the snow pile, Zeri. I believe in you. With the cute little present bunny. Oh. No! Too far! Oh, I thought you had it. I thought you had it. Also, I just noticed on the top of my stream manager thing, I have 68 subscribers this month because of all the gift subs everyone gave out during Thadathon. 68 subscribers. It's so close to being a nice number. So close. I just thought that was a little amusing. One of the few odd numbers that's acceptable. Okay. Back to this. Let's grab the wood. Finish building this. This has to go across there. That. Like that. And then we've got to strip it. Alright. I think I like that. That's nice. What do we want to do in here? Should we just make this warped wood for this part? We have a little bit of it, don't we? Oh no, we turned it into the Ooh, I know what we can do. Let's do like this. And then like nope, not that. That. A little bit more. And then what if we do this back wall, the diorite walls as well? Have we made a bunch of those yet? A little weird how this is in the wall. Maybe I should put this and that in the wall too. Oh, we got a queued drop. Thank you, Keldon, for scheduling a queued drop. Oh, Jules is already on it. Jules is killing it. Go, Jules. Shout out to Jules. Jules streamed last night. Were you guys there? I know some of you were. I'm gonna drop Boba. Matt's dropping an owl. Cute. But for those of you who do not know already, Jules is wonderful and sometimes she streams. Also, have you all been hydrating? Are we all hydrating? I feel like my mouth is dry. I have not been drinking enough water. Too much coffee, not enough water. Yes, you missed the Jules stream last night, Faust. Last night was so fun. We'll play DBD again soon. Yes. You should stream at least 6 more times in the next 30 days. Gotta clip some stuff from it too. There was one good clip that both me and Matt got. We both named it the exact same thing individually. Yes, we need to get Jules that affiliate status. Then she can have emotes. I want you to know that Kong last night was like, I was going to subscribe to Jules, but then I realized she doesn't have that option. So you have at least one person, 2 if you include me, who would like you to reach affiliate status. Just saying. I just thought that was cute, that he was like, I was gonna, but I couldn't. Do I not have any tough on me? Okay, there we go. There's tough. Right, what a guy. He's the best. Alright, and then this should take up the whole block, and I shouldn't have to. Oh no, now I can't fit the light if I do that. I guess we don't need a light. Though part of me wants to move this to be the middle part instead. Can you see behind it? Kind of, but it blends. It blends in. It's a little weird that the bed's just floating out here, but that's fine. That works, I think. Maybe we do the lantern hanging from here. Just over the bed. Good enough. Good enough. Yes, Matt posted the clip in video games. Thad cord. No, it's Cathador's Cozy Corner. That's what I have named my Discord. It's silly, but it's adorable, and that is what it is. Because Tripwire's Discord is Tripcord. And that makes more sense, too, I think. Jules only needs 11 more follows, and I'm sure she could hit the average concurrent viewership requirement without too much trouble. Yeah, she definitely met it, because it's just 3, right? 3 average viewers. And anytime you stream at night, it's gonna, me and Kong are gonna be there, so there's 2 of them right off the bat. And everybody's been really good about showing up for your streams when you've done them. I'm done with my introduction. Very nice. I'll check that out after stream, Hunter. Come join the Discord. Come join the Discord. All right, I think I like this. I'm not crazy about the ceiling. We might end up doing something with the ceiling in this tunnel now because it just looks so plain. Maybe that's not a bad thing. I kind of like it. Though I do want to make more of this moss, I think, than the tuff in this particular area. Like, it's a little carpet. It's a little carpet around the bed. It's cute. It's cute. It's very cute. Oh, did we only have 1 stack of those? Okay. Oh. Oh, it doesn't go up the bed. Unfortunate. Okay, I think I like this. I like the teal / cyan color with everything. I do love how this kind of crawls up the glass too over here. Maybe we can do a little more of this. Oh, didn't mean to uncover that one. Put that one back. Thank you. There's a llama out there having a grand old little dance party. What is going on down there? I think it's a pig. Now there's a spider. There's so much going on outside. Let's sleep. Oh, yes, we've got a queue drop. I forgot to set a timer for it. Sorry about that. Keldon did the queue drop 6 minutes ago, so it's actually time. Is everybody, did all get our drops in? Let's see. We've got Hunter's in the drop. Matt's in the drop. I'm in the drop. Jules is in the drop. Faust, Zeri, Keldon. Anyone else? Jove's in the drop. Anyone else? Last call on the queue drop. We're about to drop all together from the skies. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're dropping now. There we go. Look at us. Look at us dropping from the skies. Zeri's throwing some chaos bits into the mix. Thank you, Zeri, for that. Oh, what could happen? What could happen? Will Matt bounce back in time? Nope. Oh, still going. Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, no. Well. Well. Chaos wins! Clappies for chaos. Clappies for the chaos. Chaos cappies. Chaos clappies. Words. Words are tough sometimes. Anyway, let's just reset that. Y'all can go back to your regular drops. Congratulations to the chaos. How do we feel about the Nightbot pop-ups? Have those been a little less obnoxious lately? I adjusted the timers on a lot of them to be a little bit longer and require more messages before it will trigger, I guess. And I'm not entirely sure I understand how that part works. But I'm trying to have there be more messages in between Nightbot posts. Matt landed! And Hunter landed. Oh, very nice. That was a good one, Hunter. Clappies, clappies. And here goes Jove. Come on, Jove. You can do it. You can do it. Get Baloo in that leaf in that snow pile. Yes! Success! Another successful drop. Brick time, baby. All right, Jules. All right, let's keep going with the tunnel. So I want to figure out what the rate that we will be spacing this out will be. So let's just grab this. So if we're doing it here, how many blocks do we have between here and the end of the tunnel? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If we did every 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with 5 in between. Let's see what this looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we can have the entrance to the tunnel start right here. That actually works nicely. That works pretty good. So this would be the entrance. And then we do that same thing, well, stripped, it would be stripped wood, with walls of andesite in between. So it'll be at this level, and it'll actually give us a tiny bit more space horizontally. This will be into the wall. It won't be out here like this. So if we do every 6 in this direction. So this one we counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we started at that. Got it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How will it work on the sides like that? We might have to mix it up for this. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It would be always in the middle. I need to see how this will look. Because I don't know how the walls would carry through that part. Let's test it. Let's take a look how it'll look. Oh, my head's so cold today. And my hands are cold. Everything's cold. Oh, wonderful news for everybody who was here yesterday for my my first and second overdraft fees in my entire life. I don't have an update on whether or not they'll be refunded, but I did find out that I did not transfer my Twitch payout from last month to my bank account. So it almost evened out. Even if I don't get them refunded, I found like $58 in my PayPal account that I didn't know I had. So it kind of works out in a way. Okay, we're gonna need a bunch of the warp stems to do this. I want to see what it looks like on the corners. So let's do this, and then this will go across there. In the walls. I don't think we'll be able to see, we wouldn't be able to see the corner ones, so I'm not going to bother wasting the blocks on that. Let's do this. And then this will be dug out. That will all be diorite walls. Oh, we got a hydrate redeem. Thank you very much, Hunter, for the hydrate redeem. Everybody hydrate. Everybody, everybody. Hydrate, hydrate. Delicious. Thank you for that. Alright, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then how does it work from here? Will I have to put more of this? Or this would be part of that wall. This wouldn't go here. This would be in this wall. Like that. Wait, why did I go across here? This, do I want to do it across the top too? Maybe we do slabs in the ceiling? Instead of just the flat stone, we can do flat slabs. Oh, the only downside is with these walls, the moss is not going to climb up that. That's unfortunate. And then how would slabs work into the ceiling, I wonder? So if we do the walls in there, then the walls would also go here. I guess I kind of want to switch to it being the middle block on everyone. Because then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then it goes back to there, but we'll have to do more of the walls this way because it's got to go like that. I guess that's not terrible. I'm probably way overthinking it. We should just go for it. Joe builds chairs is live. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Matt. Want to do just a little bit more work on this real quick, and then we'll head over to Joe's. Oh, nope, not like that. That one. And then both of these. So we'll have to put stuff in the floor this way. And I don't think we can do it in the ceiling because I don't know how I would bring it over from here all the way to that side. That seems... Well, I guess it wouldn't be that way all the way through. And I will have to put one here because you'll be able to see it if we do the slabs in the ceiling. So, oh, hold on 1 second. Let's strip that. And then it would have to go down like this. Hello? No. That way. And then if we do stone slabs, the walls would have to go up further. In the right direction. Like that. And how would it connect to slabs if I replaced all this with slabs instead of stairs? It doesn't connect. So it would just be a gap there. Unless we do like that in the corners. It does make it rounder. So then this would also be full stone blocks. Actually, I think I kind of like that. Then you get a little bit of this sticking out through the whole thing. And a little bit more vertical space. We might do that. I do want to see how this carries out if we continue going every 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Every 6, rather. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is going to be the same. It's going to be the middle one. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we could have the tunnel. Oh, it could even just end right here and just be outside. We could chip away at this. That's good to know. That would work. But I think this is the general design we're gonna go for. The diorite walls, slabs for the ceiling so that the full blocks kind of round things out a little more and we can see parts of the teal throughout. I think I like that. And the wall does add a lot of texture, so that's kind of nice. There's a lot of like little nooks and crannies. Like if you had bored this out, it wouldn't be super smooth like this. There would be little jagged parts. So I think that's what we're gonna do. I will probably work on this a lot off stream, to be honest. This will kind of be something I just do while hanging out on the couch with Kong later. So we're gonna wrap up for today. It's a little bit of a shorter one, but the lovely Joe Plays Violin does morning streams on Fridays. So I'm gonna go hang out over there. I will, however, drop you all off at a Minecraft stream, I think, for today. Oh, I think I know where we'll go. How long have you been live? Oh yeah, the layout's different. I gotta look at the top right to see how long someone's been live now. Just want to make sure we weren't like ready to wrap things up. Okay. Before we go, let's switch over to our stream ending screen and take a big old sip of water. I know we did a few minutes ago thanks to Hunter's Hydrate, but everyone take one more big sip of water before we go. Oh, Hunter's getting one last drop in. Does everybody want to get one more drop in before I start the raid? Do it now. Quick, quick. Get one last drop in. I'm going to do hydrate because we're wrapping up and that's what we do. Oh, and Hunter landed. Ending on a high note. Good job, Hunter. Zeri's coming in. That might be a good trajectory if you don't get bounced around. Jove with the clappies. Jules, your drop didn't go. Oh, I landed. Zeri. Zeri's gonna land. Jove, bounce off the wall. Oh, no. Mitchie's with the bundles. Oh, so close, Mitchie. I thought you had it. Oh, no. Jules is gonna end up in the far corner, I think. Just so y'all know, the bits, the chaos bits that Zeri does during mass drops, all bits do that. Anytime you do bits, if you got a bad trajectory, I bet if you time the bits rightly, you could possibly knock yourself in. Just saying. Just saying. You could try to switch things up if you got a bad trajectory with a drop by just sprinkling a few little bitties around. All right, we're gonna go raid now before my raid target ends up ending their stream. Let me just make sure nothing has changed. Okay, still live, still live. Let's go see Jen! I don't think we've raided Jen too recently. Grab your raid calls here. Hot and fresh raid calls. There we are. All right, so it's Friday. Tomorrow is Saturday. I'm not sure if I'll be streaming tomorrow. It depends how the day goes. Maybe. I might stream tomorrow morning. If I do, it'll probably be around 9 a.m. Eastern-ish. Catch us on the Discord if you'd like to see cute animal pictures, and sometimes I update you guys if I'm running late for a stream or whatever. So we're over there on the Discord. We're also on other socials. We've got Blue Sky, we've got Instagram, we've got YouTube for the VODs. Come and say hi on all the places. And yeah, so maybe I'll see you all tomorrow. If not, I hope you have a great Saturday. Take care of yourselves. Make sure you're staying hydrated. And above all, make sure you're being kind, both to yourself and to others. All right, let's go say hello to Jen. Hi, Jojo. Bye, Jojo. We're out of here. See y'all again soon. Take care. Bye.